Today we have with us very special guest Siddharth Atmaram. He is AIR 80 for NDA entry, and he got recommended in his fourth attempt. So your foreign language will be Hindi.
Is it?
Yes. Comment section में उड़ा देंगे भाई तेरे को. देख. So 10 minutes every day is what you get to play. Let's 50 minutes is pure bamboo. So
तू चलता जा, तू चलता जा, तू चलता जा, तू बढ़ता जा, तू बढ़ता जा, तू बढ़ता जा, तू लड़ता जा, तू लड़ता जा, तू लड़ता जा, तू बढ़ता जा, तू बढ़ता जा, तू बढ़ता जा।
जय हिंद, वंदे मातरम और भारत माता की जय। स्वागत है आपका द फौजी शो में। द फौजी शो में सामाजिक जिम्मेदारी की तरफ एक विनम्र कोशिश है। इस शो से इकट्ठा किया हर पैसा भारत के वीर फाउंडेशन में जाएगा ताकि हमारे शहीद भाई बहन की फैमिलीज को कोई भी आर्थिक समस्या ना आए। आपकी एक लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब से किसी की सहायता हो सकती है, क्योंकि मैं खुद एक एक्स एनडीए हूँ और नेशनल डिफेंस एकेडमी में 3 साल ट्रेनिंग किया हूँ। मैं सम्मान करता हूँ हर उस भाई बहन का जो सरहद पर है, ताकि हम जैसे लोग, आप और मैं, चैन की नींद सो सके।
जय हिंद, वंदे मातरम एंड भारत माता की जय। स्वागत है आपका द फौजी शो में। Today we have with us very special guest Siddharth Atmaram. He is AIR 80 for NDA entry, and he got recommended in his fourth attempt. 3 times NDA दिया और एक बार
Yeah, one screen out, 2 conference outs, and finally
so,
God's grace.
So this guy here is from Karnataka, and
Bangalore.
he is from Bangalore, and he's a Karnataka state level swimmer, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So, Sid, कैसे NDA का you prepared यार? How did you prepare for NDA written? Because you have cleared it multiple times. So,
Yeah.
What is your strategy?
I'll be honest, as harsh as it may sound, but the people who make the NDA written seem hard. It makes no sense. I don't see how it is made so hard. The NDA written, according to me, if strategized in the right way, it is one of the easiest exams that you can honestly give. People say that you have to do your GAT very well, you have to study this, you have to study that, there's a humongous amount of studies to be done. I completely disagree. If you look at certain areas of the exam in general, just with few subjects you can clear the whole written in general. And as we know, I mean, both of us, getting a high score in general, it makes no difference. At the end of the day, getting within the 400 rank is what we all aspire to do. So getting a certain marks is obviously what is required to clear the written. But I mean, let me take, for example, the biggest, the area where most marks, according to me, lies in is English. Out of the 900 marks that are available to you, 200 is available in English alone. And that English is very rudimentary. It's not hard at all. With a few past year papers, by constantly just solving English in general, the questions. And, that's again where people go wrong. They try to learn concepts and this and that. To solve an English paper in general is, according to me, the most important to clear the written. And on top of that, for you to solve a paper, concepts don't make a lot of difference. It's how the sentences sound in your mind, whether that actually makes sense in the exam in general. So for you to excel in English, I guess speaking a lot of English makes a huge difference. Solving a lot of questions also, you understand that this is the kind of question that can come. And if I apply, these kind of concepts, or not concepts, but this kind of mindset into the NDA questions, 200 marks is just there. I mean, I scored 180 out of 200 in English. And that alone is nearly half my, not half my score, but I'm almost there clearing the written. The other place where you can also score a lot is obviously mathematics. It is very rudimentary mathematics. Now, there are certain areas of maths again, which are repetitive in general. Integrals, differentiation, complex numbers. There are certain chapters, if you actually look at the papers, which can be highlighted very easily. And by just tapping these chapters, you can get marks like this, and it is not hard at all. So I guess, people making it, hard by saying, how do you clear the written? It shouldn't be made that big of a deal. approach the paper in such a way that it is actually easy. It is made for the average kid in general. I mean, as harsh as it may sound, it is not meant for an IT.
Siddharth, you will get so much of backlash now. I'm just imagining the
it
comment
is true
section.
though.
Comment section में उड़ा देंगे भाई तेरे को.
No, I mean, again, see, approach the paper. This paper is not made for people who have been. See, I mean, for IIT in general, you need to study for 2 years, hard work, constant dedication, constant efforts. But for the NDA written, I think more focus should be given for the interview rather than the written in general. 3 months of preparation is more than enough. I've cleared the written how many times? So my 145, 146, 147, 148, and it was not a big deal at all. It's not like I had to put extra efforts other than my actual studies in general. So there are certain untapped potentials in each paper. The math section, certain areas. English is where it's like a gold mine. If you tap it well, majority of our marks can just come in English. I have a feeling they should remove the English section in general. That's how much of an untapped potential. Now I'm joking, but I'm just saying it can be. It is a very easy exam to clear it. I mean, just with 3 months of preparation, you do previous year questions. There is a book in general I can actually suggest. It is by Defence Direct Education, DDE. It's called 5,000 plus MCQs. It's a brilliant book. So for the written in general, at least NDA written, according to me, there is not studies that is required. You solve enough MCQs, you learn why you're doing MCQs. You shouldn't, I don't see the point in going very in depth into each concept. That's the mistake I did. I went too in depth into each concept. So by just solving MCQs, doing previous year questions, doing from this book in general, or the Aryanto, whatever, MCQs, wherever you can find MCQs, you'll understand how rudimentary the questions are. And that way, you can probably learn through MCQs the basics of each chapter.
Siddharth, you're a state level swimmer, right?
Yeah.
What is your height?
I'm 1.68 meters. I'm 168 centimeters.
Okay. And what is your routine like when you were preparing for swimming and all?
Exactly. So back in 2019, like say it started back in 2019. Again, routine in general, when I used to swim, I used to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. So we had training in the morning and the evening. So you train in the morning and you also train in the evening in general. So I train in the morning. I used to miss a few days of school as well. And again, so morning it used to be 1.5 hours to 2 hours. And the evening also it used to be around 2 to 2.5 hours. So routine in general was very hectic. I had to take a lot of permission from here and there. I had to fulfill whatever I wanted to do. And in general, so my sports was taken care of this. And in terms of routine throughout the school, we used to have normal periods, and I used to immediately right after school I had to start having my own. I had a dietitian, so I had to do my own diet, finish school, go train, come back home and sleep. So that was my basic routine till 2019. Post 2019, after I quit more or less, it was waking up at around 6:30. And, I had to study for my KCET for a little. And I also work out. I used to work out, go to college, that is PUC, finish my college till around 4 o'clock, come back home, work out again, study wherever I can. And then came my NDA studies. Slight amount, about an hour a day.
What was training like? For training for swimming and all?
Training swimming. I mean, again, I told this during my SSB interview as well. My swimming training, actually, I feel is at par with how hard NDA training is. That's why I told the officer as well that I feel I'm prepared. I am ready for it. I'm more than ready for it because I've gone through pain, mental and physical pain, both. Just to excel or to find that time, that delta in time to improve constantly. So swimming is extremely hard because it's not just on water; it's dry land as well. In the sense, what you do on land. Plus, at the same time, your diet, sleep, recovery, physio, a lot of things are involved in it. So
you're awesome. I agree with you. Swimming training is tough, okay?
Exactly.
But you have no idea what is in store for you when you go to NDA. Na? It is like swimming training was like for 2 hours, right, in the morning?
Yeah, for us. I mean, for 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening.
Yeah. So NDA training is like those 2 into 11. 22 hours. So the rest is sleep and also 20
exactly.
hours. Those 2 hours into 10. ठीक है. इतने को पता है few of my coursemates उन्होंने swimming कैसे सीखी थी when we went to NDA. So few of us didn't know how to swim, though I was a swimmer. ठीक है.
Right.
But few of my coursemates didn't know, so they failed their test first attempt.
Okay, you have a test.
You have to pass
Right.
swimming test.
Right.
So they failed their test, and they were when they came back to Scotland, they were made to change in their swimming trunks. ठीक है. And then we moved to the bathroom, and एक टीपॉय होता है. ठीक है. It's like a small table. ठीक है. So उस पे तुम्हें पेट के बल बैठ जाते हो तुम. ठीक है.
Right.
And you do like a breaststroke, and
Right.
then you put your head into a bucket filled with water. ठीक है. So like trying to simulate real
How it
life
actually is in the
conditions
pool.
there.
Makes sense.
Yes.
But it's more
So-
like torture, more or less.
Yes. Torture. And just to get that motion right, you know, कि पहले मुंह जाएगा फिर बाहर जाएगा फिर मूवमेंट
Right.
आएगा, वो that motion जैसी आएगा, और वो ऑफ द ग्राउंड सारी ट्रेनिंग होती. ठीक है. एंड फिर स्विमिंग पूल में यू नो जस्ट फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी इज जस्ट टू सिंक दैट चैप. जैसे ही वो बाहर आए, जस्ट टू गेट हिम रोलिंग, एंड यू नो डर निकल जाए. It's I think the worst part of NDA ki if a non-swimmer
I've
goes.
heard people say that swimming is given a lot of priority, but I did not know there was a test. So
There's
what
a
happens
test.
if you fail the test? What, you don't graduate to the next?
Yes, you will get relegated. So you have to
Jesus.
pass this test every term. There is a test. So they
Right.
gradually increase. Like in the first term, it's 50 meters breaststroke.
Right.
Okay. Then the second term, it's 50 meters breaststroke plus 50 meters life saving.
Right.
The life saving is like dog style
Right.
kind of
Right.
swimming stroke. Okay. And then third term, it's 100 meters of breaststroke, then 50 meters
Freestyle.
of life saving.
Okay.
And so you have to do this at a continuous pace. You can't rest in between. So it for you it would be like a cakewalk actually.
I mean,
But,
exactly. It should be.
But for many guys, it's like it's their biggest Waterloo.
Exactly. So
swimming.
hockey will be like that for me then.
Yeah, but hockey is like other than hockey, there will be basketball also that term.
I mean, I don't know both.
Yeah, so that's the best thing now. NDA mein, as it is for those who don't play any games, you will be ideally put into fourth or fifth string.
Right.
Okay, and then in that is like wrestling match, more of a wrestling match than a hockey game or basketball game, actual game. So it's like it's called Brajangal in NDA.
Right.
So
Right.
Brajangal में क्या होता है कि there's a rule called either the man or the ball.
So,
Okay. There are two ways of winning a match.
right.
First is either you score more goal than the opponent,
Right.
or you make sure that the opponent team reduces to less than 7.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay. So
That's a brilliant mindset.
है ना? So, जैसे 7 से कम हुए मैच जीत गए हम. ठीक है. So कोई हॉस्पिटल में है, कोई किसी का पैर तोड़ दिया, किसी का हाथ तोड़ दिया, किसी का मुंह तोड़ दिया. So that is actually that's why it's called Brajangal.
Right.
So but it's quite entertaining. I used to play basketball in my first term.
Right.
I knew basketball. I used to play for my school.
Right.
And then when I went to academy, I told them कि sir, I am a basketball player. मेरे को डालो टीम में.
Right.
बोला basketball team में तो जगह नहीं है. 6 termers want to play basketball. So मैंने उनको बोला कि नहीं यार, ऐसे तो नहीं होता. मेरे को आता बास्केटबॉल में. हॉकी मैंने कभी पकड़ा भी नहीं है. और
Right.
स्टिक कि मैं आई एम फ्रॉम पंजाब. सो मेरे को बोला नहीं यू विल प्ले हॉकी. तो मैंने बोला सर बट आई नेवर प्लेड हॉकी.
Exactly.
बोलता नहीं यू प्ले हॉकी बिकॉज बास्केटबॉल टीम में जगह नहीं है एंड यू आर फ्रॉम पंजाबी एंड यू आर अ गोल्फर. आई वाज इन एकेडमी टीम गोल्फ. सो दे
Okay.
सेड कि यू वुड बी अ नेचुरल. और मेरे को उन्होंने हॉकी में डाल दिया. ओ भाई साहब. We used to fifth string. You know how fifth string prepares? Fifth string is not taught ki how to shoot a goal or how to dribble, how to take ball from A to B.
Right.
Like if you have 1 hour for games, then 45-50 minutes is strengthening exercises.
Oh.
And
I
10
mean,
minutes.
it makes sense. You said right. Either you score or you hit the guy.
So 50 minutes is like push-ups, running, rolling, star jump. matlab, you are like launched. Okay? And 10 minutes is actually what they teach you
Exactly.
ki,
The
how
actual
to
technique of playing.
how to
Right.
hold the stick, how
Right.
to dribble the ball, what is a foul, what are the rules. So 10 minutes every day is what you get to play. Let's 50 minutes is pure bamboo. So
If you had told me this before you told that the whole system in India how it works, I was like, what is this? Well, they don't train well or what? Now realizing that it's more of belting each other and getting the man on the
actually,
ground, then yes, makes sense.
actually,
Strength thing does make a lot of sense.
yeah. You will get one more thing because you don't you like you must have not studied Hindi in your 10th class, right?
No.
Yeah. So your foreign language will be Hindi.
Is it?
Yes.
I
You
thought
will go.
I was genuinely excited to take. I did French. I thought I'd take French or Arabic or something.
No, you will not get that because
That's
NDA में rule
disappointing.
है, especially for all the South Indians. Generally, it's a common problem in that belt
Right.
that 10th class में हिंदी जिसके पास नहीं होती है.
Right.
So they will tell you कि हाँ भाई तुम Hindi will be your foreign language and you will sit amongst foreign cadets from Afghanistan, from
Okay, so it's
Tajikistan.
good.
Yeah,
My networking will
so-
increase like that then.
yeah. So
Yeah, actually, before
that is
we
that.
proceed, actually, I mean, this is information that I'm actually right now medically unfit. I'm still waiting for my fitness.
Okay, psych.
So,
What is the issue?
eyesight,
Okay, कितना number है?
2.75 on both eyes.
2.7. But army, अच्छा हाँ, navy का है ना तेरा?
Navy, but I don't mind army. So I'm waiting for my RMB call. Hopefully it comes.
हाँ आ जाएगा. Just keep on doing those exercises जो
I am.
होती हैं eyes की.
I am.
And because 2.75 is also like borderline for army also, no?
Exactly. I mean, it depends. If the doctor is feeling good that day, then he's okay, fine, fit. If he's feeling a little, let's say, annoyed, what else?
हो जाएगा. Let's see. Fingers crossed. है ना?
Exactly. Fingers crossed.
Okay, cool. So, Sid, moving forward, you got rejected thrice.
Correct.
You made it in your 4th attempt.
Correct.
What was lacking? How did you find that out कि यार ये lag कर रहा है? और फिर what did you do about it? And then how did you prepare for SSB?
100%. Because this question is very pertinent in the sense, in a way that it's quite confusing actually, for people who have no pedigree in the defense in general to know how to prepare for the interview in general. But for my NDA 146 NDA SSB, I got screened out from 20 SSB Bhopal. So for those screened out candidates, I think there are quite a few places that you can go wrong. So the place where I went wrong in general, I wrote a story which was, I guess it was like a movie in general. In the sense, I wrote a story based on World War II, where because I correlate to that a lot. So I wrote about a Nazi Gestapo officer, and I wrote about France, Blitzkrieg, methamphetamine, drugs. I wrote all sorts of things in my PPDT story. So I think that's where
you are also a World War II enthusiast, right?
Yeah, I'm a huge World War II enthusiast.
Have you watched Band of Brothers?
Oh, sir. I think that's a starter pack.
Yes. For all those who want to know more about World War II, watch Band of Brothers.
101%.
Watch Saving Private Ryan.
I can give quite a few movies. Saving Private Ryan, Fury, the
Fury, yes.
the Sherman tank thing, and then there are quite a few Navy. Current Navy in the sense Captain Phillips, where he was hijacked by Somali pirates. Quite a few movies. Where Eagles Dare, it's a 1970s movie. Where Eagles Dare, Guns of Navarone. Quite a few World War II movies.
But yeah, I've seen Red Eagles is about those black African American pilots.
Exactly.
Right? And Captain Phillips is about that Navy SEALs operation which took
Exactly,
place,
where
and
the
I think
merchant
Tom
navy
Hanks is
was
also there.
hijacked by Somali pirates, and
Yeah,
how the
that
navy
is a
came and
real life
actually-
situation. वो सब real life पे based है.
Exactly,
Yeah, so cool. Tom Hanks movie.
it is a Tom Hanks movie. It is a Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah, so Captain Phillips and Fury, both of these were shown in Academy. Academy में क्या होता है? Motivational movies होती हैं.
Right,
So it's like every term there are like 4 motivational movies which are shown.
right.
Right. So
Fury
World War
is
II, World
Fury
War
is
One.
next level.
Like Fury has been shown to us thrice in 6 terms. We were like, now we know the dialogues also. yaar,
Exactly,
now-
that's how many times I watched it as well.
Yeah. But it's compulsory, so you can't
Right.
do anything about it. So like the first time we watched it, and second, third time we were sleeping. So that was right. Achha, I'm from India, Scotland, so like it's compulsory for us to go to like all the movies because
Oh, so each squadron has its own identity based on, I guess, the interest.
yeah,
level.
like traditions होते हैं हर squadron के.
Right.
So like it's one of like we have 7 traditions. I'll talk about it a lot, and I'm sure कि जो viewers हैं वो मेरे को गाली दे रहे
I've watched it as well.
But yeah,
I'm one
so
of your viewers.
yeah, so 7 traditions होते हैं. So 7 में से एक tradition है movie tradition. So what happens is कि चाहे कल कुछ भी हो जाए, you know, if some flood has also come, yeah, even if tomorrow exam is there, India's con guys have to go there and watch that movie, and even if you know the whole Audi is empty, they have to sit on the first bench, like the first seat, and like
Dedication.
see like that, you know, ऐसे move करके.
Watch like this.
So we have watched all the movies like this, but we have watched it, and that's the best part. Once you enter the Habibullah Hall, no one can screw you. Otherwise, you know, juniors, seniors keep on messing with you. Ki, हाँ, sit straight.
I mean,
sit
it's
at
dark
the
as
edge of
well.
your seat. Actually, dark हो जाता है, and after that you're like boss. कि हाँ भाई, all first to sixth are equal. But that's one of the beauties of actually my squadron. So yeah.
India squadron.
So
Right.
yeah. So Sid, moving forward, what was your SSB experience like? Like those 5 days, the
Right.
last attempt in which you got recommended. So
Right.
what was that like?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
how was it
no, I
different
was
from
actually
previous
getting to
attempts?
how I identified, because honestly, this is where it's pretty hard for people. I mean, I was getting to it, where it is hard
Yeah.
for people to realize where they're going wrong. Now, there is this one word that is used in the SSB community, which is misused, or let's say it is not used in its perfect way, or not practiced in a perfect way. The word is introspection. Now, everybody says, I did introspection. Oh, my PGT did not go well. Oh, my HGT did not go well. Oh, my interview did not go well. Now, introspection, if used in a particular way, is actually a brilliant way to clear the SSB. It's very simple to clear the SSB if you introspect in a particular way. Now, I got screen out in 146. I got conference out in 147. And TS 46, I got conference out as well. So where I was lacking, where I thought I was lacking at least, in the places where I kept on getting rejected, I was saying, oh, I was not forward in my PGT. Oh, I was not doing my PGT very well. I was not giving ideas in PGT. Or in my interview, I was speaking a little too much, all this and all that. So where people usually go wrong is that they feel that they're going on a very superficial level. Like you say, oh, I got rejected because my PGT, or my PGT did not go well. That does not how it works. At least what I feel. It doesn't work like that. For you to introspect, you need to take the SSB as a reference, not as a blame game. Use it as a reference, saying that the PGT did not go well because I was not compatible with my teammates. The PGT did not go well because I felt I was shy to give my ideas in general. So how it worked for me is that the negatives, at least that I felt using the SSB as a reference, was that I was overly competitive because of my background in sports in general. So me being overly competitive, I always made sure in whatever task was put out to us, I made sure that I was the best. Irrespective of whatever happens, I have to be the best. That's at least the mindset that I went with. And it went to such a level that I would try to put down others around me to show that I'm the best in general. And quite a few things, negatives in general. So to improve, like say you're a repeater, for you to improve, it takes a certain level of maturity for you to sit down, actually think in general, using the SSB as a reference, as a person where you are going wrong. Because you are not failing because of a certain task. You're failing because, as harsh as it may sound again, because you weren't as good as the person that they felt that you should be, or at least the person that they expect you to be. So there is this one term that a friend of mine in the SSB had told. Wouldn't you want to get recommended as the best version of yourself? Being the best version of yourself takes it's a painstaking process for you to constantly improve as a person. So to identify the positives and negatives, it should be done on a personal level, as a personality in general. You don't get rejected because you did your PGT wrong, or your interview went wrong, or your psychology went wrong, because you wrote a few useless sentences in your WAT. It has gone wrong because as a person, time and again, you've proven that you aren't compatible in general in certain situations. So that's where I think, I identified that, I'm overly competitive. I put down others around me. I have this, some people find that I'm slightly intimidating. During certain discussions, I give too much facts, which makes others feel unwelcome in general in the group discussion. So I use the GD, the PGT, as a reference for me to understand where I'm going wrong as a person. So all the repeaters I think you should use the SSB as a reference, as like a spectacles in general. Use them as spectacles to see as a long term where you're going wrong. So, that's where I corrected myself for the 148th SSB. And I genuinely, for 3 months, all my friends would recognize it as well. And for 3 months, I tried to make as much efforts as I could to not do the mistakes that I was doing in my previous attempts. And when you start applying it to your personal life, you'll automatically say it, apply it in the SSB in general. It is very simple. Honestly, the SSB, if taken in the right direction, is extremely simple. And I would, there are so many things that I would love to speak of this. And okay, so coming to the experience. So I'm not sure how many people reported, but it was a fair, decent amount reported. 38 of us were screened in. Now, a person like me from Bangalore, I'm clearly tagged as the guy who can speak English. So that's where the divide immediately starts in every SSB form. So it is, I clearly have this thing that I can speak English, and this thing starts for me. But anyways, experience in general, it was an amazing experience. Probably not as good as the previous attempts that I had, because I don't think, quite a few people gelled in with me a lot. But the 30th, my recommendation experience was pretty good, because I felt I did a lot better in every task than the previous SSBs. We did a lot of stuff after the recommendation. After the recommendation, things that we did is a different story. But during the SSB, actually, point for others. Honestly, I would use every task to the fullest, irrespective of whatever task. Live in the moment. I guess that's one thing that certain people make a mistake. When you do a task, actually do the task to the fullest at that second. Don't try to think into the future or other tasks, how they're going to happen. I feel you being in the present makes a lot of difference as to your performance in general. Not being conscious as to how others will see you is one more thing that you should always think of. And take for example in PPDT discussions, I know for a fact that certain people are scared to come out and open their mouth. Again, nonsensically speaking makes no sense. It adds nothing to you. Speak when you're required to speak. Speak when you actually have something to add to the group, where it can actually move forward. Because at the end of the day, you want to move forward as a group, right? You don't want to be seen as a hindrance. But don't be afraid to give a point if you feel that it is good. Don't be afraid that others will snub it. Because I've been snubbed quite a few times in my group discussions. But I've been screened in, even in a TS attempt. So, being afraid in the SSB makes no sense. Being arrogant makes no sense, because again, it clearly cuts you short. And, experience in general, live in the moment is what I would say. I lived in the moment in my 140th course. I took each task, as an experience or an opportunity for me to prove myself time and again. And I think I did it. The fact that I got selected, it shows that my previous SSBs, I did not take each and every task to the fullest, but this I did take it to the fullest. So experience in general was decent. The post-recommendation experience was, that was pretty good. The stuff that we had done was pretty good. But I think my advice would be, speak when you need to speak, but do speak. Live in the moment, be the best version of yourself. And I'm sure there is no reason for them to reject you. I'm 101% sure about that. And, you find various kind of people in your SSB. Try to tackle each and every one of them in your own way. Tackle in the sense, you may find a guy who's hard to gel in with. Try to find your own ways to, I'm sure in your actual friend group or in your social network, you'll find people who are hard to convince, or you'll find people who are hard to get into line in general. Try to use your social life or your everyday life in general to get these kind of people into your thoughts or your ideas. And it'll be very simple in the SSB. And that's at least what I did. So use everyday life as an example for you to do well in the SSB. And, take, for example, the personal interview. Answer in a way that you would actually answer to a friend. Answer in a way that you would actually answer in the way you would act in real life. Don't do some things that you think would impress the officer. Like, take, for example, I know people who sit in the SSB like this, ramrod straight, absolutely no emotion, dead in the face. So trying to prove that you're, made for it by superficial actions, I don't think makes a lot of difference. Constantly smiling, looking jovial, being, actually enthusiastic about the conversation in general is, I think, what makes a lot of difference. Portray, every point, like, say, for example, I was given a lot of current affairs related questions, like analytical related questions in my SSB, in my personal interview. So I would say, take for example, talking about the personal interview alone, when you are given a question, don't answer in a way which has no spine. Answer in a way which actually portrays qualities about yourself. Show in a way that you are analytical in nature, critical in nature, observational, in ways that you actually can portray the qualities in yourself. Don't just answer for the sake of answering. Take a few seconds to think and answer each question. Portray, in the sense, at the end of the day, you are being marked for each thing. So if you don't portray certain qualities in your answers, irrespective of what your question is given, like, say, for example, I was given the question, why do I think the United Nations is irrelevant in today's day, or in the contemporary world in general right now? So the easier way to answer would just say, UN is not great, UN is not being effective, or something like that. You need to give answers where you're showing that you've thought into it. So I said the United Nations is irrelevant because of the principles that it stands for today. The principles are not being, the agenda that it stands for before is not being taken today. Take, for example, the South Sudan mission. $54 billion was given to South Sudan, but only around 10 was actually on ground. Shows that there is a lot of corruption in the system. People in the system are not actually living to the agenda that it actually projects to be. So, and not just that, the United Nations is now being used as a platform for other countries to gain clout, for other countries to prove their point, or for other countries to gain an advantage over others. So you show that you have observed into each situation, any question that is given to you, you show that you're observational. It does take you a long way. Smiling constantly, I feel, does make a lot of difference. I'm sure if Sir and I smile constantly at each other, I guess the environment is a lot, smoother. You just feel comfortable in general. And that's what I think is, what is required in the personal interview in general. So I think these are the qualities that you require in the personal interview. At least what I've observed, what I feel from my, umpteen number of experiences.
Yeah. So, Siddharth, thank you very much for being with us.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, many aspirants have learned a lot. And you are, I think, the first guy on our show who was from English speaking background. So, हमारा status super बढ़ रहा है दिन भर दिन. So, Sid, one thing which you would like to suggest to all the aspirants, like your closing address. So, what would be that? What's the last point which you would like to suggest to all the aspirants out there?
Sure. The defense, again, I may take a couple of more minutes, but I would say the defense isn't something that you're doing as a source of employment. It is a choice. It is a choice of commitment. It's a choice of passion. Now, know what your passion is. Why do you want to join? What is that? I had written an article as well. What is that thing that keeps you awake at night, constantly dreaming of joining the forces? Once you recognize that spark, that ignition of interest or passion, you yourself will realize why you want to join. So by you realizing why you want to join, the qualities of yourself are already projected that way. The reason why you want to join. I would say to join the forces, it's not like I'm some beast or something, but to join the forces, you do require a certain, level of competence. a certain level of observational skills, being expressive, being able to talk, being fearless, but also knowing when to talk and when not to talk. And I would say that I keep saying this to everybody: know why you want to join, because you're not going there just as a source of employment. You're going there as a sense of passion. So know why you want to join, and that will take you a long way. Because the forces in general is it's an environment of passion. It is an environment of pure passion and pure enthusiasm in general. That vigor, that driving force is there for the forces, which may not be there for other jobs and professions. So I would say know your reason, and it will take you a long way.
Cool. So thank you very much, Siddharth, and I'm sure aspirants will get to learn a lot. And thank you again for coming on platform. Guys, please
Thanks
like,
from my
share,
side as well.
subscribe. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe, and do share this episode with your friends. As you know, all the earnings are going to Bharat Ke Veer Foundation. So subscribe karo, like karo, और बेल आइकन भी दबाई देना टाइम मिले तो. So take care, guys. Jai Hind.